Welcome back to Blooming Brilliant Homeschoolers, the podcast dedicated to thriving as homeschoolers here in New York City and beyond. I'm your host, Christine, and I'm so glad you're tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about when your relatives scrutinize your homeschooling decision and provide support and strategies for navigating this. As a seasoned homeschooler, I have encountered moments with extended family and friends where I have felt uncomfortable. For some reason, it seems that when it comes to making the decision to homeschool, you also allow people to give you their unsolicited opinions. Now, I've been homeschooling for many years, and it seems like recently that homeschooling has become more accepted, which is a great thing. You may not have any of these experiences, but if you do, I created this episode to support you and guide you through this difficult experience. If you're like me, a person who didn't come from a homeschooling family where homeschooling was something foreign, then you might find yourself in similar waters. At a social gathering with family, friends, acquaintances, discussing homeschooling, socialization, testing, and of course, tons of other comparisons to traditional school. I'm sure as a homeschool parent, you didn't take the decision to homeschool lightly. I'm sure you went over it in your mind for a while and you weighed the pros and cons of it all. I don't know why, but some family and friends just don't understand it. And for whatever reason, they want to pour out all their worries and concerns for your child on you. With everything that has been going on in the world the last few years, homeschooling is becoming more and more acceptable and understood and even praised. However, you still may have family members that just don't understand it and want to pry into why you made the decision, how it could possibly work for you, and of course, your children's abilities. Nothing can be worse than having Aunt Jane test your second grader's spelling or math skills, or Uncle Bob challenging you on how teaching science at home is incomparable to the school your children's cousins attend. It's exhausting, actually. Holidays are already stressful, so when you have to defend the way you choose to educate your children, it can be overwhelming. You deserve to enjoy the holidays and not stress out over uncomfortable conversations. First and foremost, I want you to know that you are not alone. If you have gone through this experience or are going through it now, there are many of us homeschooling parents that have experiences just like this. So take some solace in the fact that you are not alone if you are going through this. Now let's explore some strategies on how to deal with this when it happens. Most of the time at a large gathering where tension may already be high because hello family and holidays, it's not the best time to get into a debate or even a dissertation on why you have chose to homeschool and all the benefits. In fact, the best thing is to keep it short and sweet. When they ask you, how is that homeschooling thing going? Or how could you homeschool? I could never do that. Respond with something simple like, it's going well, or something along those lines, or it just works for us. You don't need to explain to anyone your decision to homeschool. You do not need to advocate for it or spit off facts and benefits. Just take a deep breath and share what you like. But keep it simple, especially if you don't want it to become the topic of discussion. If there are follow-up questions, then answer them as simply as you can and change the subject. Arm your children with these responses as well. If they want to share stories about their homeschool, then of course, let them. But if they feel uncomfortable, teach them how to respond simply and change the subject to something they are passionate about right now, whether it is learning an instrument, playing soccer, a visit someplace, or even a book or video that they have become obsessed with. It's good to have a short elevator pitch prepared if you have family and friends who are persistent on peppering you with opinions and questions. Make sure it includes the main reason or reasons why you homeschool, the approach you take to homeschooling, and the values homeschool establishes in your family. You can always say something like, homeschooling isn't for everyone, but it's working for us right now. That statement alone, it's working for us right now, or homeschooling isn't for everyone, but it's working for us, is always my go-to statement. It just makes things lighter and more manageable. It explains everything in one concise sentence. It's just saying, like, it's not for everyone, but it's working for us, and that's why we're doing it. It's also good to establish some boundaries. For example, let's not talk about grades. Let's avoid comparing children. Let's not bring up religion or political factors in our homeschool. Religion and politics alone are sticky subjects, usually good to avoid during the holiday season. And you should never compare children with each other or yourself to anyone else. If someone who clearly disagrees with you is pushing their opinions, questions, and overall views with you aggressively, it is perfectly okay to excuse yourself and say that you hope you find a better time and place for a constructive conversation. Then physically walk away. It is perfectly okay and not rude to walk away from someone and not have to engage in a whole conversation with someone who is attacking you for your decision to homeschool your child or whatever it is that you make that decision for your child. It doesn't matter what the decision is. It might not even be homeschooling. It might be something else. And if somebody is questioning your authority and your decision-making skills for the betterment of your children, it is perfectly fine to walk away from them. And the way that I just told you is not even a rude way to do it. It's actually a really good way to do it that diffuses the situation versus making it a whole drama, which is so common during the holidays. Don't forget to build up both your own and your children's confidence in your decision periodically so scrutiny doesn't erode your resolve. Affirm why you chose to homeschool and the progress that you see. It's really easy to doubt ourselves as homeschooling parents. And then when outsiders pile on top of that doubt, it can really take a toll. It's okay to share about your homeschool. If you feel comfortable, then of course share all about the fun things you are doing and working on. These tips that I gave you today are for when you are uncomfortable and feeling attacked. Home educating requires thick skin, especially when those around us haven't walked in our shoes. I hope that these tips help you to navigate a sometimes stressful experience. Thank you for tuning in, and please tune in next time for more homeschooling tips and encouragement. Make sure to check out bloomingbrilliant.net for resources and other support.